this is Artaska from I Am Music Academy of the Arts. In this video, I would like to talk to you about the top 10 most common mistakes that violin players make. So let's get started. The first common mistakes that a lot of violin players make, especially when beginning, is holding your violin incorrectly. What I mean is you're holding it down. Literally, you're holding it down all the way down here and you're trying to play and you're all crunched up. That is not good. What I want you to do is hold it off here to the side to play. As you can see, it is better form and it's all good all over, and you're not gonna just jack up your neck and become all sore and stiff from holding your violin the wrong way. The second most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is being tense when playing. Now, I understand that when it comes to certain pieces, you might have a little bit of nerves in there, mixed in with anxiety and everything else. However, you don't want to be tense when playing, okay? So you want to relax and you don't want to be tense, because if you are tense, your body is tense, your wrist is tense, your arms are tense, your hands, fingers, everything tense up, and being tense is not good. You can do harm to yourself by causing injury, and it does not help you to produce a good sound. So remember, don't be tense. The third most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is incorrect bow hold. Now, I understand that there are a lot of different bow holds out there and techniques and things like that. However, it is good to pick one, stick with it, and do it correctly. That's what you must do. So you must pick one, stick with it, and do it correctly, okay? And always make sure when you're holding your bow that your thumb is bent. Don't have your thumb like this. No, don't have your thumb like this. Make sure that your thumb is bent when you are holding your bow. The reason why your bow hold is so important is because the sound comes from your bow. Yes, the sound comes from this. It does, especially with your fingers and everything else. However, what helps to really pull that sound from the instrument is your bow. Therefore, bow hold is highly important. The next most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is bowing by the bridge and like a pirate. What I'm saying is, especially when you're first starting out, you have to learn where to properly place your bow. So you don't want to bow here by the bridge. No, you don't want to bow there or bow like a pirate. That's when I say bow like a pirate, meaning you're bowing all across. You see how that is? And this actually hurts. Like, it doesn't help. It really hurts because your arm is tense. So you don't want to do that. Don't bow like a pirate. And don't bow here by the bridge, okay? So you want to make sure that you're bowing in the right spots. You see what I'm saying? You want to bow in the right spots. Actually, I talk about that in my course, like where to specifically bow and what produces the best sound as well. So you want to make sure that you are bowing properly. So don't have your bow all across and don't bow by the bridge, because when you bow by the bridge, your sound is going to become scratchy, and you don't want a scratchy sound. That's not good. You want to make sure that you're always producing the best sound as possible. The next most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is hand is literally on the violin. Your wrist is bent and like this when playing. As you can see, if my hand is like this, it's hard for me to play, right? It's not gonna work. So you want to make sure that your wrist is in proper form and is loose. You want to make sure that your wrist is loose, because if your wrist is loose, then you're able to throw freely up and down the board. But if it's like this, you can't really flow freely. You get what I'm saying? You can't flow freely. It's like a tongue twist. Flow freely. You want to make sure that your arm and your wrist is moving and that you are flowing freely. Yes. The next most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is not practicing. I get it. Practicing is tedious. Practicing is just, I don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this? But remember, you're developing muscles when playing. You're developing muscle memory, so you must practice. In order to develop that muscle memory, you have to practice. If you don't develop it. I mean, I get it. It's boring, you know? Like, who wants to do the same thing over and over again? You know, you shouldn't always do the same thing over again. But what I'm saying is, make your practicing interesting. Have something to look forward to in each practice session. I mean, set a goal. Do whatever it is that you have to do to make sure that you practice. I recommend, literally, when you're just starting off, practice just 15 minutes a day. At least 5 days a week. 15 minutes a day. I promise you, it sounds like a lot, but as you practice more and more and more, it's going to be like, oh, this is a breeze. And then when you get in the habit of practicing, then up that time. Up that time, and I promise you, you will see an improvement in playing. So you must practice, okay? Practice makes perfect. Say it with me. Practice makes perfect. There we go. Another most common mistake that I think everyone makes across the board, regardless if you're a beginner to an intermediate player to an advanced player, is negative thinking. Oh my God, this is such a big one because we have all been guilty of it at some time. None of us is perfect. None. Even if we think we have it all together, we are not perfect all of the time, okay? And when we make mistakes and things just doesn't seem to go their way, or we just can't get something and becomes frustrated, we start to think negatively. Please get rid of that thinking, okay? Do whatever you have to do to make sure that you do not have any negative energy or any negative thinking when it comes to your playing, okay? So I want you to be positive. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how difficult the passage may be that you're trying to play, the piece, I don't care. Just be positive and say, I got this, I can get this, I can do it, okay? So no negative thinking, all right? Team, no negative. Got it? So don't be guilty of this one, okay? I know it's so easily to get there. It is so easy. But let's just train ourselves to be positive when it comes to playing the violin, regardless of what stage we are at, all right? Another most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is making mistakes and not correcting them. I get it. You know, you're playing, you're practicing, and you're just going through the piece, and you make a mistake. Well, you're like, why? I got this. I'm gonna keep going. No, you have to stop and correct the mistake. Because if you don't correct the mistake, you're not going to improve, and you're not going to develop, you know, that piece more that you're playing. So when you make a mistake, go back and correct it. I remember someone telling me, just play like, when you make a mistake, play it 20 times, 20 to 50 times, literally 20 to 50 times, and you will correct the mistake eventually, and it will help you feel better and more confident with what you're playing when you focus on correcting mistakes, okay? So if you play a piece, you mess up, stop, correct the mistake, start back again, go through, and you got it. That's how you should work the piece. So don't skip over the mistakes, correct them. The next most common mistakes that a lot of violin players make is not tuning. Not tuning. It is important to tune. Please tune your instrument when you're playing. There are apps on your cell phone. There are tuners that you can get at the store. You have no excuse to not tune. So please tune, because if you are playing with an instrument that is out of tune, your playing is going to be out of tune, because you're going to put your finger placements trying to make sure you produce the right sound, but it's not going to happen, okay? So please tune your instrument when playing. Last but not least, the 10th most common mistake that a lot of violin players make is playing out of tune. Yes, playing out of tune. Now this can be corrected. Literally, play with the tuner if you're unsure of the note, and it will tell you if you're playing the note correctly, if the note is flat, or if the note is sharp, alright? So if you are questioning if you're playing a note out of tune, play with the tuner, you know, one that can pick up the sound and tell you what note you're playing. That's one of the best ways to fix it. And if just practice. When you're practicing, the more you practice, it will help you to solve that playing out of tune problem. And I understand when you're just first starting out, you know, you're trying to get it all, and I mean, I get it. So you may not always play in tune all of the time. However, I want you day by day to work on your intonation. There are tons of intonation techniques out there and exercises that you can use to work on your intonation. Because if you're playing out of tune, that's letting you know that, hey, I need to work on my intonation. So that should be a priority when it comes to practicing is intonation, okay? So fix your intonation and you will sound great. You will sound amazing. One more thing, I would like to tell you about this course that I made specifically for violinists just like you who is trying to figure it out. The best part is that this course is 100% online and it can be taken from anywhere, from any device. Click the link below for more information about this course that will help you on your journey. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video, and don't forget to subscribe.